Good morning, all. Yesterday we were talking about sectoring. What is the intention behind sectoring is that we are trying to reduce the signal to interference, increase the signal to interference ratio. That means reducing the interference. Okay. The main problem behind the cell splitting was that even though we have increased the channel capacity, but the main drawback is that it will lead to severe interferences and also more frequent handoff. So this will make the BSc and MSc in burden. Okay, that is both the base station as well as mobile switching center will be in burden if there is frequent handoff is happening, because we are having small number of cells and each of the cells is having its own base station. So whenever a mobile is moving from one cell to another cell, it will lead to severe number of handoffs. Again, the performance will degrade. That is the main disadvantage of cell splitting, even though it tries to increase the channel capacity. Clear? To resolve that problem, we are going for sectoring. In sectoring, what we are doing is we are installing antennas in each cell in such a way that instead of putting the antennas in omnidirectional, they will be confining the radiations only in one particular sector. Okay, what do you mean by omnidirectional antenna? Omnidirectional means they are focusing radiations in all directions uniformly. Okay, and in sectoring, what is happening is that we are putting or we are installing the antennas in the cell in such a way that they will be concentrating radiations along in one sector only, so that the interference will be minimized. Okay, the co-channel cells, the effect of co-channel interference can be minimized, as you can see in this particular example that is shown in the slide. In this example, this is a 7-cluster reuse system. 7-cell reuse system means we are having 7 cells in one cluster and we are having 6 co-channel cells as I shown here. The cell labeled number 5 is having 6 co-channel cells in the first tier as I shown. Okay, but the thing is that when I am employing the sectored antenna, only 2 cells are contributing interferences to my host cell, which is at the center. Okay, you can see the host cell which is labeled as 5 in the center of this particular cellular system, and even though all other 5 that is surrounding to this particular cell are acting as co-channel cells, that is they are sharing the same channels, but still all these 6 co-channel cells are not contributing towards interference because of the sectoring. Understood? So because of the sectoring, only this particular antenna as well as this particular, this is also this particular antenna is contributing interference, because the boundary of this antenna is like this, the boundary of this antenna is like this. So both the antennas are having coverage zone with respect to this particular cell, means they will be giving some sort of interference to the host cell. So instead of having 6 co-channel effects, now we are having 2 co-channel effects, thereby the interference can be minimized and SIR ratio can be increased. SIR means signal to interference ratio. Is that clear for you? Now with another example, we will analyze what is the difference between a sectored antenna or a sectored system and an unsectored system. Unsectored means, what do you mean by unsectored? You will be using only one single antenna that's omnidirectional. Whereas in case of sectoring, we will be using multiple antennas within one cell itself, which will be able to focus radiations in different sectors. If we are using 120-degree sectoring, it means there should be 3 antennas in one cell, because one cell you can see it is 360 degree, isn't it? You see an hexagonal cell, omnidirectional pattern means it is 360 degree. If you are using a 120-degree sectoring, means there will be 3 sectors. 360 divided by 3 is 120. If you are using 60-degree sectoring, means 360 by 60 is 6 sectors. So likewise, what will happen if the number of sectors increases? Obviously, when you increase the number of sectors, then SIR ratio is going to increase, because interference is minimizing. The effect of co-channel cells are decreasing, isn't it? So interference get minimized and signal to interference ratio increases. This is what is being shown in the next example. All of you take your notes. Write this example that is showing the difference between a sectored system and an unsectored system, or what is the effect of sectoring of a particular cellular system. So first we will be taking the case of an unsectored system. We are taking an unsectored system. So when you take this particular system, you have The average call that is lasting for 2 minutes. The call duration is 2 minutes. If you take any number of calls, the average call duration is 2 minutes, which you can take as H. H is the holding time. And convert this minutes to hour. So 2 by 60, that is 1 by 30 hour. It is the average holding time. And the GOSS or the blocking probability is 1%. So you can consider this as a 1%. GOS as 1%. Now, the assumption throughout this particular system is every subscriber makes 1 call per hour. Every subscriber is making 1 call per hour. So this is your arrival rate, 1 call per hour. And the total number of channels present in the entire cellular system, it is 395. And assume that we are using a 7-cell reuse system. 7 cell means in one cluster you are having 7 cells. Okay, totally you are having 395 channels in the entire system. So number of channels allocated to one cell will be 395 divided by 7, that is 57. Is that clear? I repeat, the holding time is 2 minutes. 2 minutes is nothing but 1 by 30 hour. And the total number of channels is 395. So to one cell, there will be 395 by 7 number of channels, that is 57 channels. And the assumptions are the call arrival rate is 1, that is 1 call per hour, and the GOS is 1%. So these are the two assumptions which we need to carry out throughout this analysis. Now, since this is a Erlang B system, means there is a probability of blocking and there is no queuing system. So in that case, we will make use of Erlang B chart or Erlang B table to find the traffic intensity. You know that in order to find the traffic intensity from Erlang B chart, you need to access two parameters. One is your capacity channel number and another one is the grade of service. Here, as you can see, the channel number is 57. How did you got this 57? By dividing the total number of channels divided by the number of cells in one cluster. Since it is a 7-cell reuse system, we are dividing it by 7. So we got 57. So as of now, we have 57 number of channels in one cell and the grade of service is 1%, that is 0.01. So by looking into this chart, you will have the traffic intensity 44.2 Erlangs. So this is directly you're getting from the observation table. So this is a traffic intensity that you are getting. Now we have the equation AU is equal to lambda into H. What is AU? AU is the traffic per user, traffic intensity per user. But already we have an assumption here that every subscriber is making 1 call per hour. Okay, there is no more possibility of originating more calls from one subscriber. Only 1 call is originating per hour from one user. So you can say that AU is equal to A. So A can be written as lambda into H. Even though the formula AU is equal to lambda into H is holding good in all cases, but in this special case, what is a special case? From one user, only 1 call is originating per hour. So normally AU is equal to UA, isn't it? So instead of putting AU is equal to lambda into H, we can write A is equal to lambda into H. From this, we will find lambda. What is lambda? Lambda is the overall calls per hour, call arrival rate per hour. That is, we are going to analyze with the entire users. Okay. So to find lambda, you will divide this A divided by H. So A is equal to 44.2 divided by H is 1 by 30. Got the difference between the earlier lambda and this lambda? The other one was call arrival rate from one user. That is 1 call per hour. Now we are trying to find out the number of calls originating from the entire number of users in the cellular system per hour. That is what is known as this lambda. So we have multiplied A is equal to lambda into H instead of putting AU. Normally, if you are considering one user, then AU is equal to lambda into H, holding time. Okay. But here we are going to find the total number of calls that is being originated in the system per hour. So we are trying to find out A, which is equal to lambda into H. Already we know the value of A, so the only unknown parameter is lambda, which is equal to A divided by H. Now we have the A, that is offered traffic intensity 44.2 Erlangs that we got from the Erlang V chart, divided by H. H is 1 by 30. So the answer is 1326 calls per hour. So in one call or in 1 hour, you are having 1326 calls originated in this particular case. So this is the traffic, that is the total number of calls that can be managed by the system per hour, 1326 calls per hour. So this is an unsectored system. Please be aware, this is an unsectored system, means you are not using any sectored antennas here. Only omnidirectional antennas are present in one cell, which is capable of radiating radiations in all directions uniformly. So when you consider this unsectored system, our conclusion is in 1 hour, totally 1326 calls can be managed. Is that fine? I'll repeat, how did you calculate it? H is given to you, number of channels is given to you, grade of service is also given to you. Then what you will do is, you will be trying to find out the number of channels per cell. So for that we are dividing 395 divided by 7 because we are making use of 7 channel reuse system. Now with this 57 channels taking into our consideration, along with 1% GOS, from the Erlang V chart we will find the traffic intensity as 44.2 Erlangs. Now based upon this traffic intensity, that is a total traffic intensity, we are trying to find the total calls which is originating per hour. So we will make use of the formula A is equal to lambda into H, where H is the holding time, that's nothing but 1 by 30 hour. Rearrange it and find the value of lambda, so we'll have 1326 calls per hour. Now we'll go for the sectored system. Our objective is to find the effect of sectoring. Okay, why you're going for sectoring? To improve the signal to interference ratio or minimize the effect of interference. Okay, the antenna is able to concentrate radiations only in one sector. It is not omnidirectional. Thereby, the chance of interference will be less, or the contribution from the co-channel cells to the host cell will be very less. That is the effect of sectoring. So, as of now, we have done with the case 1, that is the unsectored system. Now we will go for 120-degree sectoring. When we are going for 120-degree sectoring, can you tell how many number of base stations will be there? Anyone? When you're going for 120-degree sectoring, how many number of base stations will be there? Normally for a omnidirectional sectoring or unsectored system, only one base station per cell will be there, because we know that hexagon, the total angle will be 360 degree. So 360 divided by 360 degree, that will be 1 only. So you need to have only one base station per cell to have radiations uniformly in all directions. But now we are going for 120-degree sectoring. So how many base stations you require per cell?
3, sir.
Yes, it is 3, because 360 divided by 120. So you require 3 base stations per cell. So what will happen is the number of channels will get decreased. In the previous unsectored system, in one cell you had 57. But since here we are having 3 different cells in one cell itself, because 3 different base stations, isn't it? So we can consider 3 cells in one cell as of now. After 120-degree sectoring, what you can assume is, we can assume that the one hexagonal cells, now it is being divided into 3 different sectors, each being serviced by different base stations. So as a result, the number of channels per cell will get decreased. That's 57 by 3. That will be 90 number of channels will be there in one cell. Again, the grade of service, it remains constant. So from the Erlang V chart, we will find the total traffic intensity with respect to these two values, that is C is equal to 19 and grade of service is equal to 1%. And we found that the total offered traffic intensity is 11.2 Erlangs. With this, we will find lambda. Lambda is equal to A divided by H. Again, the holding time is 1 by 30 hour because it is 2 minutes. 2 minutes when you convert into hour, it is 2 by 60 or 1 by 30. So divide this total offer traffic intensity divided by holding time, you will get 336 calls per sector. In one sector, you are having 336 calls. Likewise, how many sectors are there? 336 into 3. So there will be 1008 calls per hour. 1008 calls per hour. Now you just compare the previous unsectored system. You are supporting 1326 calls per hour, but here we are only having 1008 calls per hour, which means that the trunking efficiency had decreased because the total number of calls supporting per hour by the system has come down from 1326 to towards 1008. But at the same time, you can claim that the signal to interference ratio has been increased. Why it has been increased? Yesterday I shown you in that particular slide. If you are employing 120-degree sectoring, instead of having 6 co-channel cells contributing to that interference, only 2 is there. So if there is only 2 co-channel cells contributing to that interference, means the effect of interference will be less, signal's strength will be high, so signal to interference ratio at the receiver will be large. So I hope you got the point. The point is that if you go for sectoring from an unsectored system to 120-degree sectoring, what is happening? The trunking efficiency has decreased. Trunking efficiency in the sense the total calls supported by the system per hour is getting decreased, but at the same time the signal to interference ratio has been increased. Now I will go for 60-degree sectoring, means you are employing 6 base stations per cell, isn't it? 360 divided by 60 is 6. So you are employing 6 base stations per cell. So again, the number of channels will decrease. That is 57 by 6, only 9 channels per cell. So with respect to those 9 channels as well as the grade of service 1% from the Erlang B chart, so that for 2 Erlangs of traffic is being supported by the system or 0.2 Erlangs. Now after finding this 4.2 Erlangs as a traffic intensity, what you will do is you will divide this by the holding time 1 by 30 hour and you will find the total call originating per hour. That is the overall arrival rate in the particular cell. Okay, so it will be 126 cells per hour, sorry, 126 calls per hour in one sector. In one sector, please note it is one sector. Similarly, how many sectors are there? We are having 6 sectors. So you need to multiply 126 into 6. So 756 calls. So again, it has come down to 756 from 1008. That is when we increase the sectoring from 120 degrees, sorry, when you, increase the number of base stations, that is 120 to 60 degree, isn't it? Sectoring is changed from 120 degree to 60 degree, or the number of base stations per cell has increased from 3 to 6. So in that case, what happened was the value or the traffic efficiency, the trunking efficiency, that is, it becomes 1008 calls per hour. From 1008 calls per hour, it has drastically decreased to 756 calls per hour. So I put all these parameters in one table for the conclusion. You can see the 3 comparisons for the calls per hour or the trunking efficiency. For unsectored, you are having 1326 calls per hour. For 120-degree sectoring, you are having 1008, and 60-degree, you are having 756. So when you compare the first 2 columns, the trunking efficiency has decreased 23.9%. Relative change. How will you find the relative change? Anybody? How will you find the relative change of the 2 quantities? You have 2 physical measurements, 1326 and 1008. How will you find the relative percentage of change with respect to these 2?
Excuse me, sir. I don't think we can see the slide, sir. It's locked in the PPT one.
My God. Now you are seeing the slide.
Yes, sir.
So I should explain the previous things again.
No, understood the concept, sir.
Yeah. See, for case 1, you are having 1326 calls per hour. When you go for 120 degree sectoring, again, the calls have been reduced from 1326 to 1008 calls per hour. Again, if you go for 60 degree sectoring, again, the number of calls per hour has drastically reduced to 756. So when you compare this, the trunking efficiency, you can see 23.9% of trunking efficiency has decreased if you go for from unsectored to 120 degree. Similarly, if you go for 60 degree sectoring from unsectored, you can say that efficiency has still decreased towards 43%. Yeah, 43% of decrease is being shown. So that is the effect of sectoring. But at the same time, we are able to increase the signal to interference ratio. How we are increased? Because as you can see, for an unsectored system, for a n equal to 7 case, you are having 6 co-channel cells. At the same time, for the sectored system, that is 120 degree sector, you are having only 2 co-channel cells contributing to the interference. At the same time, here you are having only 1 co-channel cell that is contributing to the interference for a 60 degree sectoring. So when you find the relative change, what is the relative change? 6 minus 2 divided by 6. Relative means initial minus final, or that change divided by initial value. So you can see here about 66.6% of signal to interference ratio has been increased. At the same time, when you compare the first case and the 60 degree sectoring, 83.3% of SIR has been increased, even though you are compromising in the trunking efficiency. So that is what is the effect of sectoring. Okay. So sectoring means we are employing more than one base stations per cell, which is focusing radiations only in one sector. So when you increase the number of sectors, the available number of channels will decrease per cell. Because if you are increasing, or if you are taking 120 degree sectoring, it is understood that there is 3 base stations per cell. So 53 by 57 by 3. Overall, there were 57 channels in one cell. But now if you employ this 120 degree sectoring, only 19 channels will be available per cell. So accordingly, you are finding the traffic intensity from the Erlang-B chart, and by using this particular formula, you will find the calls per hour. That's lambda is equal to A by H. Okay, this is nothing but the number of calls per hour in one sector. Similarly, you are having 3 sectors, so into 3. So likewise, you need to proceed for 60 degree sectoring also, and you need to compare the number of calls per hour that's originating for all the 3 cases. That is what is being I showed in this particular table: 1326, 1008, and 756. So there is a decrement in calls per hour, that is trunking efficiency is decreased, but at the same time signal to interference ratio is increased because of the effect of less number of co-channel cells. That is what I shown in the previous slide. Okay. Now coming to the next topic. So the main problem of the sectoring is the use of antennas. That is, in one cell you are forced to use more number of base stations because they are concentrating only towards one sector. The radiations are concentrating only towards one sector. So you will be using more number of base stations in one cell. So that will lead to installation cost. The installation cost will be large. At the same time, the handoff issues will be also large because more number of antennas you are using. Kindly note down these points. These are the drawbacks of sectoring or problems with sectoring. The main problems are, now you are able to see this screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. The main problems with the sectoring is, one point is it increases the number of antennas at each base station. So in one base station, you are having more number of antennas. And the second point is that, as you can see, if you employ more number of antennas, then the trunking efficiency will decrease. Why the trunking efficiency has decreased? Because the total number of channels available per one cell has been decreased, because you are dividing the one cell into different clusters, I mean different sectors. So in that case, the number of channels available in the pool for trunking will be decreasing. Third point, handoffs will be severe because whenever a mobile is moving around a cell, okay, inside a cell from one sector to another sector, then there will be handoff happening. That is another drawback. But the main advantage is that many modern BS support sectoring had and related handoff without the help of MSC. Okay, the modern communication system are performing the handoff strategies without the help of MSC. That is, the base station itself will take the initiative to perform the handoff. That is one advantage of using the sectoring process. So the main intention behind the sectoring was to increase the SIR, even though we are trying to compromise in the capacity. Okay. Now, to alleviate these drawbacks of splitting and sectoring, we'll go for micro cell zone concept. Micro cell zone concept. The problem of sectoring can be alleviated or addressed by micro cell zone concept. A cell is conceptually divided into micro cells or zones. So here what we are doing is, if you take a large geographical cell, a geographical area, we'll be dividing that particular cell into small zones, where each of these zones will be connecting to the same base station through a fiber link or a microwave link. So controlling is done by one base station. Okay, but the radiations will be radiated by the antenna that is being installed in that particular zone. But those radiations will be controlled by the base station that is connected with all the micro zones or all the micro cells or zones that is present in one cell. This you can see in the next slide. Here I have one large cell. So within this cell, you are having three zones as I have shown here. Okay, this is one zone. This is another zone. This is a third zone. And all these three zones are having a parabolic antenna as I shown here at the edge of the zone, or at the corner of one zone you are having an antenna, and all these antennas are being connected through a link, maybe a fiber link or a microwave link, to the base station. So it is a base station who controls the zone by using this radiator or by using this antenna. Now this antenna will be responsible to provide service to your mobile, which is moving within the cell from one zone to another zone. The main advantage of this is that we are not going to switch the channels from one zone to another, even though we are moving. So whatever the channels we are using in one zone, okay, those channels can be used or utilized even though when you have moved to the second zone. But the thing is that the service will be rendered only by the corresponding antenna. So this can be accomplished by using the zone selector. So the zone selector with the help of a hardware is able to detect the radiations coming from each of these antennas, and the base stations will check this radiation intensity or the electric field intensity or the power radiated from each of the antenna, and based upon that it will confine whether one particular antenna need to offer the service to this particular mobile or not. So that depends upon the mobility of the user. Okay, but suppose that this is my host cell where the car is present. Now I am moving towards this particular cell. So normally when I am reaching towards this particular zone, the transmitter or receiver, that is this parabolic antenna, should be able to take my service. So that is nothing but judged by this base station along with the zone selector. So this will continuously monitor the received signal strength from all the three antennas from all the three zones, and based upon that it is going to decide which particular antenna is going to serve our mobile or not. So ultimately the base station is going to serve all the mobiles, but with the help of different antennas which is placed in different zones. Because all the three antennas, suppose you are having three zones in one cell, then you are having three antennas. All the three antennas is connected with the base station, so that the base station is going to monitor all the three parallelly. Okay. So this is a concept of microcell. So here we are making use of a directional antenna in each zone, and each zone radiates power into the cell. MS is served by the strongest zone, as I told you. the mobile station is being served by the strongest zone. What do you mean by strongest zone? Strongest zone in the sense the signal received from that particular antenna of a zone will be maximum. Then we can say that that zone is the strongest zone. So that will be able to identify with the help of the zone selector and the base station, and the base station will decide which antenna must serve our mobile station. So here the main peculiarity is that there is no handoff required as we require in the cell splitting and cell sectoring. The cell splitting and cell sectoring, even though we are making use of this to increase the capacity and SIR, but the main disadvantage is that we are getting severe handoff when we move from one sector to another sector or from one cell to another cell, because more number of base stations are being incorporated in one cell. So that is not a feasible solution for us. Okay, so we need to decrease the handoff to a maximum extent. So for that, we are making use of this microzone concept. Here, there is no handoff is required. It retains the same channel. That is the main peculiarity. Even though we are moving around the cell from one zone to another zone, we are making use of the same channel. The thing is that the service is rendered by different antenna, again with help of same common base station. The base station, what is it doing is, the base station simply switches the channel to the next zone. It is making use of the same channel, but it simply switches the channel to the next zone. Means that service is being offered by the new transmitter cum receiver parabolic antenna that is being installed at the corner of the cell. Again, all the three antennas are connected directly to the same base station through an optical link or microwave link. So through that link, it is able to get the received signal strength at the mobile station due to all these three antennas, and based upon that, it will decide which is the strongest zone. Likewise, it is switching the service from one antenna to another antenna without changing the channel, which means there is no handoff. That is the main peculiarity or advantage of microzone cell concept. So the question will be like this: what are the three ways of increasing the capacity and addressing the SIR issues? The main three techniques are: one is cell splitting, second one is cell sectoring, and third one is microzone concept. Okay. Cell splitting, sectoring, and microzone. Splitting and sectoring has its own drawbacks. The main drawback is the handoff. Splitting has got one more drawback, that is interference. But those interference we will be able to minimize in the sectoring. But in order to minimize the signal to interference ratio, the thing is that we need to compensate in trunking efficiency. That is what is the drawback of sectoring. Clear? Splitting has mainly two drawbacks. One is severe interference and frequent handoff. That should not happen at all, even though it increases the capacity. For that, we are going for sectoring. But in sectoring, we are able to decrease the interference. But while decreasing the interference, the drawback is we are trying to compensate in the efficiency, trunking efficiency, because only less channels or less users can be accommodated per hour. That is what is the disadvantage of sectoring. So to alleviate these problems, we are going for microzone concept, where we are not employing any handoff frequently, because only one base station is controlling all the zones with the help of three different antennas. So same channel is being occupied by the user, even if the user is moving from one zone to another zone. Clear? Any doubts with respect to these three concepts? So this finished our first module with this, and for your CIE, you will be having this complete first module as well as the first two topics of second module, which I will start today, and I'll be completing it within 1 or 2 classes. Probably I'll be taking tomorrow also an extra class, so that will be also included to your CIE 1. And I have already uploaded the question bank in your classroom. You can go through that, and there will be 3 theory questions and 2 problematic questions. The problems will be from first module. I can tell it will be from the trunking efficiency. I mean, this trunking portion. Okay, trunking portion means that A, lambda, TH, holding time, that portions. So from the text, you just go through those examples, problem, whatever I have done. That is from 3 point.
Sir, can you share the PDF of all the problems, sir?
PDF of the problems is already shared. No, examples 3.4 to 3.7. Problem number 3.4 to 3.7 you need to go through. Accordingly,
Okay,
some
sir.
exercise problems also I have the same thing, just parameters only I have changed. That's all. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you don't accept the second tier, third tier problems and all that and all. I have made you to think for assignments only, but you just need to know the concept. That's all. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Example problems I have shared in the Google Classroom. Example 3.4 to 3.7. You just go through those problems with the trunking. Similar problems I have shared in the question bank also. So try to go through that. If any doubts, you just ask me. I'll clear. Okay, because I don't want to solve, and because you need to think that. Okay, you just think and solve. If any doubts, you just ask me. I'll try to do those things. Okay, so there will be 3 theory questions and 2 problematic questions. The problems will be from first module only, especially it will be concentrating the trunking part. That's all. In another 1 minute, this meeting will get end. You can rejoin with the same link again. We'll start with the second module.